a joy that you have found us for this podcast. How exciting it is to think that this spiritual message is going out to people around this planet. Whether your life is working at a peak level or whether it can use some enhancement, have I got the message for you today. So get a piece of paper, get ready to take notes, call a friend, have them watch this podcast also. Then you too can have something to talk about and take it to a deeper level. So enjoy. Here we go.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to Seaside here on a Sunday. I'm privileged to be able to give the message today. As it was mentioned earlier, today is the actual day of Reverend Christian's birthday. He's 50 today, and so we're very excited. He called me last night to wish me a good talk, probably around 7 or 8, and I asked him if he was enjoying his last few moments in the 40s, and he was having a barbecue and said that he was doing it right. And as we mentioned, we welcomed him to the club of the 50-plus group. So we told him we've been holding a spot for him, and so here he is. But what he did say is that he wanted me to tell all of you hello, that his heart is with you. You know, his favorite thing in life is to be here on a Sunday to speak and to be this message and all of you. And so he wants me to let you know that he's thinking of you. So we'll know that we're thinking of him too. We put a whole group together between services and called his cell phone and sang him happy birthday. So he knew that we were thinking of him. But it's my honor to be here with you today as we are venturing along in the Joyous Freedom Journal. And this month is about free to choose. And today's talk is that you choose the seeds you plant. Now, that's a very basic concept. We know, as we talk about in Science of Mind, that the seed is God, that within the seed is everything that is necessary for it to come to its fruition. So in the acorn is the giant yoked oak tree, and in the carrot seed is a complete carrot, and on and on. And so we know that God is that source and has put within that seed everything that is necessary for it to come to fruition. So we plant the seed in the soil. The soil just says yes. It doesn't matter. Whatever you plant in it, it doesn't care. It'll grow whatever you plant in it. The soil is that soul, if you will, that medium that just says yes. And then we see the manifestation of it, which is in our lives. And so I wanted to take this a little bit deeper because this is such a basic concept. I think we forget about it, and I don't think we take it as serious as we really should. Because we know that in all things that we have created, every single thing in your life that you are experiencing right now, you have created because you've planted a seed, you've watered it, you've nurtured it, and you've fed it. And that's why it's in your life. Everything, positive or negative. All those wonderful things that are happening in your life, we know that you feed it with your positive attitude, with your hope and belief. And we know that you feed it. We know that those things that aren't working in your life right now, whether it's finances and money, whether it's relationship, whether it's health, we know that those things are occurring in our life also because they're seeds we've planted and we keep feeding it and nurturing it. Now that sometimes we don't like to hear that. We really would much rather prefer a life that we were, maybe the victim of or something that happened and this really isn't my fault. But the truth is by believing in that method, it takes away all of the power of us. And we know that this is the truth because we can look around, look at all the different expressions in this world and all the different creations that people have. And what is the one thing that separates us? The one thing that separates us is how we think, what we put our attention, and what our focus on. That's what is the creative principle. Ernest Holmes says that effect follows cause always. There is always an effect to what we set in motion, the cause. We know that when we plant a seed out in the garden, if we put a carrot seed in the ground, we're going to get a carrot. We're not going to get an apple. We're not going to get a banana, or those come off trees. We're not going to get a potato. We're not going to get any onions or any of those kinds of things. But we're going to plant a carrot seed, and we're going to get a carrot. We know that. And we do that with confidence. And we feed it, and it comes from nothing, and it becomes this great big carrot. So what is that telling us about the world? What is that telling us about the universe? That it has a power of creation based on what we plant. But we have to be very careful about what we're planting. Because when we look at this, we look at the things that we want in our lives. We're wanting to plant seeds of money. We're wanting to experience more prosperity in our lives. But we've possibly bought into the concepts that are going on in this whole global experience right now of recession, of lack, of not enough jobs, not enough money, pay cuts, all of those kinds of things. Our attention is on that. And so we want to plant seeds of money, but we're literally planting seeds of lack. And based on what our experience is in our life right now, and it'll tell you which one you're planting more of. We want to plant seeds of a healthy, vibrant body, nice and slim and vital and those types of things, but we sit and talk about how fat we are, how our clothes don't fit, or how we're not supposed to eat this, that, or the other, or this is fattening. We put all our focus and attention. We're constantly planting seeds of aches and pains and fat and food and all those disease and all of those kinds of things, and we wonder why we have it. We don't realize we're doing it. We're not purposely doing it. It's almost this unconscious thing. It's like this current. That's why it's so important that we guard our consciousness, we guard our awareness, and from TV and all those things that bombard us, because it doesn't take much to suck us on in to the belief systems that aren't what we're wanting to create. We look at love and relationship. We think, wow, it's really hard. I'm having trouble finding the right person. All the good ones are taken. Love is really hard. Creating a good relationship, I have one, but, they're never the right person. All of that stuff that we hear ourselves saying, those are the seeds that we're planting. We want love and everything wonderful, but we're planting these kinds of seeds, and that's what we're getting. But this is powerful, good news. Because we know that we can plant that which we are wanting to plant. And so let me ask you the question. How would it be for you if you never had to worry again? Do you think that's possible? Yes. It is possible. Yes. It's possible. If we never had to worry about money ever again, if we never had to worry about our health ever again, if we never had to worry about a relationship and love in our life and that feeling of being loved and giving love and all of those wonderful things that came with it, what if we never had to worry about that again? Well, if it's possible, then we can plant the seed. We can plant that seed, we can feed it, and we can nurture it. But what it requires from us is a deliberate planting, a deliberate feeding, a deliberate watering, a deliberate nurturing. Now, we've all been told this before. This is nothing new. So are we doing it? How much deliberate time did you spend today feeding and nurturing and creating the world and planting the seeds of that which you want? And we say, well, why don't we do this? I mean, it makes such sense. This is the principle. Why don't we do this? And because sometimes it feels like we have to do it all ourselves. Sometimes it feels like this is just so hard, or we're just kind of like heavy or buried down with all the stuff that's going on right now. Please don't give me another to-do. I got too many of them. And we just get buried in those kinds of thinking. Are we judged by appearances? Abraham has a wonderful analogy that I like looking at, is that so often we live our life and we look at what's happening right now, what other people have created, the different things, or what has happened to us in the past. You go, gosh, I'm not going to do that again because I already learned that lesson. I already know what's about it. And they use the analogy of it's kind of like driving in a car and driving and looking in the rear view mirror the entire time. So you're looking what happened before. What you ran over, well, oh, I hit that bump, wow, I don't want to do that again. And you're looking before you, but in front of you is this entire vista of infinite possibilities of anywhere that you might want to go, all kinds of different things to do. But you're looking at what happened in the past, or what you just went over, or what you just went through, or what somebody else went through. And we're gearing our whole life based on that, because we have put value on being smart and being intelligent and learning from all of the stuff that's going on. Just watch the world and what's happening right there, and that'll tell you what to do. But that's a mistake. The truth is it's infinite possibilities that are out there. It's infinite. We really can live without worry. We really can live without worrying about our money or our health if we plant those seeds. But we must trust. One of the things that's hard to do is that we figure that we have to do it all ourselves, that we need to know how and when and what we have to bring together, and I have to make this marketing call, and I got to call this person together, and I got to make all of this stuff happen. But we forget something that's really, really powerful. Is that just like when we plant the seed, we plant the seed. God does the rest. Already within that seed is everything that's necessary that takes from our eyesight something that we've never seen before and creates something that we can't see. 99% of all creation is in the invisible. Source is in the invisible. The creation is in the invisible. We look at spring right now, but we've looked at trees during the winter, and some of us might be in our winter right now, but we look at it and we see these trees with nothing on them, completely barren. That doesn't mean nothing's going on, because they're just starting. I know on my plum tree, it's just starting to get the flowers and just starting to get the leaves, and things are just starting to happen. But we could look at something and say, oh, nothing was happening all winter long, but that's not true. So we think we have to do it ourselves, and we think we have to make it happen, and we judge by how fast it's happening and all of those kinds of things, and then we just stop. But that's where faith comes in. That's where trust comes in. And we see it all around us. I'll use the example of my life, but I want you to think about yours, because yours is equally as true. From the very time that I came on this planet, I knew that I was going to be a mother, and I knew that I was going to have children. I knew that I was going to have a little boy and a little girl, and that's exactly what I got. From the time I got started into career and started thinking about what I wanted to do, I knew that I wanted to work with money and handle money, because I figured if you focus and study money, then you'll get to understand it and you'll have some. So I became a stockbroker when I was early in my life and spent a lot of time learning about money and investments. From there, I had to run a company. We had our own brokerage firm, so we had to run the company, which means I had to do all the bookkeeping and all of the budgets and planning and cash flows and all the analysis. From there, I decided, that I wanted to be with the people, and so I got into the sales aspect. I was in the sales aspect of it, but from there I went into an insurance agency and insurance sales and started selling insurance and sitting down with people and explaining it and talking to them. From there were people that came in that we added additional agents, and I helped to train them and teach them how these specific products worked, and enjoyed being with people and training them. From there, I came into this teaching and found this, and I thought, wow, I had been in the positive thinking movement since I was 18, reading Wayne Dyer and all of those things, and here it all comes together, but with one of the greatest gifts that there is that I don't have to do it all myself, that there's a power and a presence in God at action. And so I started learning about this. Never ever planning to be standing here as a minister, never entered my mind, but I did know that I wanted to share and I wanted to help people. So I had planted those seeds all along of working with money, of understanding budgets, of working with people. I never thought that I would be speaking, because I'm generally a shy person. And so I didn't know that, but Toastmasters came along and I started speaking, and all of this just came together. Here at Seaside, I'm the executive director. I handle all the budgets, all the cash flows, all the finances. I never, ever, ever could have placed myself right here, right now. All of those things that had to come together in order for me to be here right now. Now, I planted the seed of this or something greater. I wanted to share. I wanted to be with people. I wanted to be in that positive thinking movement and all of those kinds of things. I planted the little seeds that are around, but Spirit did the work. God did the work. And think about your life. The same is true now. If you look at where you stand right now and all of the little pieces, all of the little things that had to come together, that had to be orchestrated, the right people had to be brought into your life, the right circumstances, you had to be in the right place at the right time, and so did the other people. All of the stuff of this universe had to come together in order for you to be the sum total of where you stand right here, right now, and all that you know and all that you've learned. You didn't do it. God did. Just as when you plant the seed, you plant the carrot seed, it comes out the carrot. God does it. God does the work. But we plant the seed. And so we must be conscious about those seeds that we plant. And when we plant seeds, we can look at all kinds of stuff. We can look at all of the many things that are available out there to us, all the material things and all of those kinds of things. But I don't really want to talk about that today. I want to talk about 3 things that we all want. In fact, if we were to have these 3 things, we know that all things would be added unto us. The first one I want to talk about is joy. Joy. We all want joy. We all want to be happy. But we have to ask the question, what do we want? What do you really, really want? Now, I know every single one of you want joy. But when was the last time you said, I am putting joy in my life right now. I'm making sure my life is filled with joy, that everywhere I turn and all that I do, that I am bubbling up and overflowing with joy. We know we want that, don't we? Joy. The excitement of waking up, the excitement of walking through life and seeing all of the fabulous things that life has to offer. The excitement, and I know you've been there, we've all been there, where we've had those times in our life where everything just looks so great and you are so grateful and things just look fabulous. Do you think it's possible to have that all the time? Absolutely. But we need to plant the seeds. Laughter. Think about the joy of laughter. When was the last time you just rolled over laughing because it was so funny? Not enough. In fact, we have to stop and think about when it was last, don't we? But the truth is that this is a funny universe, and there's a lot of funny things happening, and we can be laughing and laughing and laughing all of the time. If we choose to see that which is funny, if we choose to see those funny things that are going on around us, if we choose to be light enough, the reason we're not laughing is because we're not light enough. We need to lighten up. Think about play. The joy. And when I think about joy, the things it represents for me is playing. Praise God for grandkids. I think that's why they were created, because it brings us back to that childhood again. Brings us back to that time in our life of play, where you get on your hands and knees and you're running around, you're making goofy faces and you're doing all kinds of things. This week I found myself going face first on my belly down a slide. And I thought, I hope nobody's watching me. I mean, I was longer than the slide to start with. And so, and even my grandson went and looked at me like, but then he jumped up and went down himself. He thought that was quite funny, and so play. We play. It's so fun getting these little toys now. In fact, at my house, I decided to turn my whole garage into like romper room. And so I went out and they have these residential bounce houses. Those big houses, those big bouncy things that kids bounce. I went out and bought one. So I have one in my garage that consumes the entire garage, but it is so much fun. We bounce and bounce and bounce. We have balls in there. We throw it at each other. It has a slide. It has a rock wall. It has all of these things just to play. It feels so good. It's so young at heart. It just lightens you up. I put a swing in my garage. Now I have this swing, and it even holds enough weight for me to swing on it, me and him. It's just fun. So if you were wanting to plant some seeds for your life, would you plant some seeds of joy and ask yourself the question, what does that look like for you? And if it simply means planting more seeds of it, bringing more focus and attention of it, then why don't we start now? We look at planting seeds of well-being. I want to share with you the definition of well-being. Well-being, a satisfactory condition of existence. Satisfactory, I'm not sure I'm crazy about that word, but a satisfactory condition of existence, a state of health, happiness, and prosperity. A satisfactory condition. State of health. When was the last time you planted seeds of youth, vibrancy, beauty, a healthy, strong body. You know, we get pulled down so much by our aches and pains. We get pulled down so much by those things that are hormones and things that are bothering us right now. And my back hurts and all of those kinds of things are, we just get pulled down. We forget that we're being pulled down so much. That we could literally plant the seeds of well-being. We could plant the seeds of abundance. We can plant the seeds of financial security. We could plant those seeds and water them and water them and water and water and nurture them and just keep our attention and a focus on that. And then watch them bloom. How powerful. Planting our seeds of love overflowing in our life. Bringing our awareness to that. Judging not by the appearances of what's going on out there. Abraham also uses an analogy of a faucet, where we look at the faucet and we see the water going to it, and you could make a big argument that on the faucet, when you turn the water on, that water comes from a faucet. And that's an argument. Couldn't you? You bring somebody to it and say, look, it's right here. It's evidence right here. Water comes from a faucet. But we know there's so much more than that. There's a much bigger story than that. And there's a much bigger story of what's going on with all of us. And so then we bring about the idea of peace. Wouldn't you just like some peace of mind? Just peace. What would your life look like if you were at complete peace? Always, in every moment. Do you think that's possible? I do. Peace. My life would look like I wouldn't be hurrying anymore. As I drive around, I catch myself going, that's my new thing, is to stop and be at peace. Just driving. I'll get there when I get there. It would mean that if I was at peace, I wouldn't be worried about my family and my kids and all the things that are going on. I wouldn't be worried about, the stuff I need to do or not do. I wouldn't worry anymore. Would you like to stop worrying? Wouldn't it be nice to know that all is well? It is, And that can become our whole vibration, our whole being. If we put our focus and our attention on planting those seeds that all is well, all is God. I have a friend or my sister, actually, her mother-in-law, we were at a baby shower, and she is 85 years old. And we were talking, and I asked her one of the things, well, what do you know for sure? And she said, what I know for sure is that it always works out. It always works out. Well, you don't have to be 85 to know that. Look at your life. It worked out, right? It always works out. But if we can remember, and we can use that deliberate intention, that deliberate focus, to remember that truth, to just let go and know that all is well, to have that peace of mind, that our kids are well, that those that we love are well, that which is unfolding is absolutely perfect. Can we plant seeds of peace? We all deserve it. We deserve it, and it is possible. So I want to close with a reading from Ernest Holmes on just that subject, on the subject of peace. And so I just invite you to take these words within. I accept the fullness of my own divine well-being. Within myself is that which is perfect, that which is complete, that which is divine. Within myself is that which lives, is that which is God. Within myself is peace, power, wholeness, and joy. All the power that there is, and all the presence that there is, and all the life that there is God, the living Spirit Almighty. And this divine and living Spirit is within me. It is wholeness. It is never weary. It is never tired. It is alive. It is my life. It is complete peace. It is never afraid. It is never confused. It is always poised and peaceful. This is the truth about myself, and there is no other self. Every image of fear is erased from my mind. Every sense of confusion leaves my thought. My mind now entertains and reflects the divine into everything which I do, say, and think, into my body and my body of affairs. That divine within me is wholeness, and I reflect this wholeness into every organ, every function, every action, every reaction of my physical being. Universal substance reflects itself into daily supply so that everything I need each day is supplied. There is something within me that goes before me and prepares the way wherever I go, making straight that way, making perfect the way, making immediate and instant and permanent and harmonious every situation. My life reflects this divine substance, which heals every sense of lack in my life. Peace, power, perfection, joy, wholeness, well-being. Living spirit within me is me, myself. I accept the fullness of my own divine being. We plant the seeds, and Spirit says, yes, yes, my beloved, whatever you want. We don't need to know the when. We don't need to know the how. We have one job, to plant the seed. Seed of joy, of peace, of wholeness, of well-being, of abundance. Plant the seeds and with faith, let it grow and let it manifest as our lives. I invite you to spend this week thinking about what do you want and what does that look like? What do you really, really want in your life? What does that look like? And start planting those seeds. Let us turn within. As we feel that power and presence, we close our eyes to this outside world, for we know that right below those eyelids is infinite, infinite possibilities. That which we think, we can unthink. That which no longer works for us, we are never stuck. It is never carved in stone. For it is always available for something brand new right now. That is the power. That is the promise. That is God in action, as me, as you. I claim for each and every one of us right now seeds of joy, peace, and well-being, because that is the truth of all of us. For God is good. I claim it right here, right now, as my life. And so it is. Amen.
Again, with a lot of heart and soul and passion. Divine love through me blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I give, and all that I receive. I am prosperous now. Hey, I trust you enjoyed that podcast. It was very exciting to be able to create that and to know that there are people like you all around the world that are observing and integrating these spiritual principles into their life. And so if you enjoyed it, what I'd like to do is encourage you to tell a friend or bring several friends together and watch another one of these podcasts. And then afterwards, take some time to talk about the spiritual principles, to talk about the stories and what significance they have and relevance they have in your life. What then happens is it moves to a deeper and deeper level in your world. It becomes real and assists you to create the freedom in your life that your heart and soul so desire. So if you like this, I encourage you to watch it again, but also tune into our website here at seasidecenter.org. There, you can get some of my written material and take a look at it. You can read some of my spiritual prayers. You can even go to our online bookstore and order some of the books. And if you're so moved, what I greatly would appreciate is your financial support, which you could do online at seasidecenter.org. It is support like yours that assists us to be able to continue to do these kinds of gifts for humanity and send it out to the world. Because you know what? We are making a difference with this spiritual message. And because of support like yours, people are being touched in the farthest reaches of this planet, as well as our backyard, more than we could ever begin to realize. So I thank you from the fullness of my heart for making a difference.